Hi everyone. This is the Content Editor weekly catch up. And this week we have two items in the agenda. First one is going through a walkthrough in the Content Editor toolbar and merge request, and the second one is very similar. And it's about going through the Content Editor uh, integration in the wiki MR, where we just include the editor based on whether a feature flag is enabled or not. So Himanshu, I want to take some notes based on your feedback while we go through the first MR. In that way, like I can take advantage of like we are here together, and after the meeting, I can start like making changes based on your thoughts.
Yeah, you wanted
Oops.
like you want to look at the MR right now.
Yes, it was just like going through like for 10 minutes and giving you a demo of how the toolbar is working. I just wanted like
Yeah,
like to do a little bit of sync on it and hear your thoughts about it. I know that eventually you will do a code review, but I wanted to take a little bit of time and giving you a live demo of it. So I
okay.
have loaded the branch before in my local environment. So here is the editor with the toolbar. Pretty much, this MR is not focused on adding all of the possible features that the toolbar could have. It just like creates a basic structure for having buttons and having the basic interface and highlighting the toolbar button based on the current selection where the cursor of the editor exists. So now we have like when you put the text cursor on a code snippet, like it's gonna highlight the button that applies that format. If you put it in a list, it highlights that and so on. And if you go here and you start like a new paragraph, this is, and then I go and click here another list. It does like it works like as expected. The in other editors, that have a toolbar. Like there is nothing surprising. There are some elements here, like the blood quote. That if I do this, you will notice that it doesn't have any style. Like it's a blood quote, and it's like it doesn't look different at all from a normal paragraph. But the problem with that is that if you go here, you see that there is actually, the text that I'm writing is
Oh, yeah.
grabbing in a block
So,
quote.
so yeah,
It
you can
just,
actually do if you just go to the GL Markdown class above here, you just add MD class. That should maybe do things for you.
oh, let me see. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's like those styles are already implemented in there. So what I would like to do, like the reason that I use the LG Markdown and LG Compact Markdown is that these classes implement the pajamas Markdown type scale. And what I think that like it could be a good contribution is uh, to use the Markdown type scale that conforms with the design system. It's not complete, like it doesn't have all of the styles for all of the Markdown elements. But what I did for in the case of the blog quotes that doesn't have any style is that I created this merge request in GitLab UI. and I implemented a block quote. The advantage of doing that is that it it started a discussion in the foundations team where they noticed that there are several elements that are not documented in the design system. Also, I got like some feedback from the product designers uh, in the foundations team where they told me like, hey, probably you should use a different type of color that is like it has a good contrast to make it to make it accessible and conform with those specifications. Also, I noticed that here there are other people in the product design team that are creating issues for styling blog quotes or creating fixing accessibility issues by working on these styles and implementing those elements styles in GitLab UI. We are pretty much helping the foundation team uh, to regrow and to write like correct styles for all of the markdown type scale.
Yes, but uh, in my opinion, if you just but that would kind of be different from what the Markdown preview shows you, uh, because it uses the old styles. So so you might be right in like using proper pajama styles for everything, but it's not a right thing to do for the end users because they see something in the content editor and they would see something else when you actually view the page. So as long as we can be consistent with what you see is what you get basically when you actually view the page, then also it should be using the GL Markdown styles. Uh, Otherwise, we should just be using the old MD classes and and use this GL Markdown as an add-on later.
But why don't we use this transition period to implement and to increase like the whole implementation of the Markdown type scale? If we finish the implementation, we can even deprecate the Markdown styles that exist in GitLab and replace it with the correct, with the new implementation that conforms with the design system.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. As long as we, uh, my point was that we should, if we are taking care of the Markdown style, we should do it at both places, uh, in the editor and in the preview as well, because we don't want people to use the editor and when they're using the editor, they see something, and when they actually click save, they see something else.
Yes, I think that having that consistency between the displaying Markdown and editing it in the visualizer is very important. We definitely should like have that consistency. Um, but that yeah, like I think that like it's a like during this transition period, perhaps at the end of the implementation of the content editor MVC, we may consider to also use the Markdown type scale for displaying Markdown in the wiki. In that way, like it is consistent between the editor
Okay, yeah,
and the wiki.
yeah, I think I agree with that as well. We can also consider it as a stretch goal, but yeah, we can go with either direction.
Yeah. I think that's something that can be useful is to determine which other styles we have to implement. I know that we don't have styles for tables yet, and we could like and GitLab UI still doesn't implement the styles for lists. So something that I was thinking about last week is to talk with Eric and well, not only with Eric. I actually have like a once we have a new meeting where we determine what we are gonna be spending time in 13.12 and 14.0, we can determine if we want to spend some resources on implementing those styles. When we start like implementing the tables extension or other type of extension, we could dedicate some time to implement like the actual styles that are documented in pajamas.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Cool. So yeah, that's like pretty much the toolbar. What the toolbar does now. What do you think about the styles here? What we could like change, or something that I noticed last week when you were talking, sharing with me about the focus that you implemented. I noticed that the editor has a focus here, but probably we should like remove it and put it around the entire like border of the
Yeah,
editor. I'm gonna take a note of that.
yeah, we can do that.
Replace inner focus. The focus ring that wraps the entire editor box. Uh, cool. And here in the merge request, uh, I think that the most important highlight is the toolbar button component. So what I did here was like every toolbar button that executes that executes a command, or applies a format
Yeah,
like bold or italic. We have. Hmm?
I've already seen the merge request. So yeah, I understand that it has execute command and it has a way of knowing the state as well, like is it active or not, and I think that's really great.
Cool. So I guess that the walkthrough is not is not really necessary then. But do you have like
Yeah.
any question about?
Now I was actually going to approve it already, but I did not do it because I wanted to have a look at it once again. Uh, but yeah, the merge request looks really good. The only thing I would like to talk about is maybe the focus thing. Like we are adding some classes to the pros mirror component, pros mirror uh, element, and I also want to add some classes to it. So I mean as someone who is consuming and content editor, we would want something that we can pass to the editor create editor function, so that whenever I don't want my classes to override your classes. We want to combine the classes together. So
That
adding
makes
that
sense.
functionality would be interesting.
Cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Like you have to enable that kind of customization.
yeah, and also basically what I was doing was I was adding classes to make it look like a form element, uh, but we need those classes on the container element, not the. Uh, but we need to figure out how to do that. So I think it's okay. We can do it iteratively. As soon as we get the editor integration out, we can then focus on the toolbar.
Yeah, yeah. Like once I know that I saw in the merge request, like we're gonna see it again now, but I noticed that you even rewrote the element that the view the view component that provides tip tap to attach the cross mirror view to a view component. But yeah, we
No,
can,
I'm going
well,
to going to revert that. But yeah, it's I was thinking about not using that at all because it's just a wrapper and it just yeah, I'll probably revert that. I still use the component, but let's see.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna then stop sharing so you can share your screen and
Well, in terms of my MR, okay, I'll share my screen. So it's it's the same MR from when I shared last with you, but there are a couple of important. I mean, like I wrote a lot of tests, so actually we don't really need to. We don't. I mean, I finished writing all the tests, so and they're all passing. Uh, we don't need to have a pairing session for tests at least after this. But yeah, I'll just send it across to you for a review, and then we can send it off to for maintenance review. Yeah, so I rewrote this, but my idea was doing two things. So I wanted to destroy the old editor whenever you reset it to a different thing, but I didn't realize that uh, I should actually destroy it on destruction of the component. Uh, and I don't think we should actually create like why do we even need to create like init container every time? Can we not just like make it re-render again? I don't know, but I think it makes sense to create a new editor every time because it's not really a an operation that people would do again and again, right?
that's right. We just need like a we just need one
Yeah.
editor, and then we can set the content and update the content.
No, my point was that it's okay to create an editor every time you create content editor because switching between editors is not something people would do very often. Like it's not like you're going to switch between the markdown and content editor again and again.
Makes sense. Like you don't switch between views. Well, let me see if I understood what if I understand what you're saying. Um, you're saying that we don't need like to run this line of code every time like we like at which time we are running that line of code, like creating the editor.
Yeah, it's run every time you switch between markdown editor and the content editor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Like we only need to create one instance and we don't need to recreate it every time that the user switches between formats. We just need to call the set content method and update the content. We don't need like create the editor once and once again.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. So if I'm sharing my screen and yeah, but I don't think that you are able to see my VS Code.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see VS Code.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I mean, it's not showing a border around it, so it's weird. Uh, so what we need to do is, yeah, create the editor and all that. But let's say if I don't pass it content, yeah, you can actually get content on it. You're right.
Yeah, we can
Uh,
just call set serial as content.
yeah, this dot editor or, and then you can do this dot editor dot.
When do we call init content editor?
We call it every time uh, you switch between editors. Uh,
Why don't we call it unmounted, and then we just call set serialized content when the user switches between formats?
because we don't really know that people want to use the editor. So as long as they don't want to use the editor, we just don't import anything or don't do anything with it at all. So yeah, I think this is a great idea that you just create the editor once. That way, what I can do is I've been worrying about uh, destroying the editor, and I actually don't need to do that anymore. I can just revert it back.
And what do you think about initializing the editor only when the user clicks the use editor button?
Yes, that's what I am doing. And let me just show it to you. If you go to the wiki, I don't know why the repository is not working. Let me just uh, discard my changes in the content editor view file. Actually, does need the prop. So yeah, yeah, this is the change that should be. Uh, yeah, the only difference now is that instead of the data element we had earlier, now we are actually passing editor as prop, and we are adding all these classes to the Postgre object, which I believe we can do. Which I believe we can actually pass to the editor object as here, right?
That's right.
So,
That's a property, a configuration property of the pros mirror VM. But do you think that's the right way of doing it? Like, would you like to do like what would be your ideal interface to provide those classes?
I think we should not provide the classes here because it does not make sense. Uh, since it we should actually provide since we are already getting the editor object here. I think Postgre should PipTab should give you an option to uh, provide the classes after the editor has been created. So instead of doing this, I would just do this dot editor dot some set some classes, and then I would add these classes.
Makes
Instead of the
sense.
5-line code, it would be a 1-line code. But yeah, I would still want that the code exists here, and not anywhere else. Yeah, and these tests are also failing because because it has some different expectations. Yeah, I need to fix this class as well. But I don't think we actually need any tests for this because it's all it's doing is just taking a prop and rendering content editor. So I don't think we actually need tests for this file right now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very simple. In the toolbar merge request, we have more tests because we are including the toolbar. We are including like we are passing the properties to several
Yeah.
components. But at
Yeah.
that stage is probably not necessary.
Okay, so I think for now I can go and just delete this file. What do you say?
Um, yes. Well, what are you gonna do about the custom classes that you are introducing there?
Which custom classes?
The form
Oh yeah.
control.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was not going to add test for that, but yeah, I should go and add. But yeah, I will add test for this custom classes. Anyways, uh, I was going to show you what exactly is happening in the content editor. Oh wow, it's broken. Uh, Looks like I can't show you anything here. In the meantime, I think I can go and fix the test while GDK is doing its stuff.
I'm gonna check if there is a way of updating the editor classes from, you know, like outside of the point where the editor is created.
Yeah, there should be, but I was not able to figure it out. I mean, I did not try doing that yet. We just create a new editor and
Yes, it has a set props.
we can mount. Uh, does it have a separate method to change the classes?
Yes, it does. But I don't think that the Prosmeter editor class exposes an API for it. The tip tab, like the internal tip tab view object, editor view object provides a method to update the props. I gotta confirm what I said about the editor class. Oh, actually, it does. It has a set options method that we can use for it.
Okay, and that sounds
I'm
reasonable.
gonna I'm gonna send you the link to it.
Okay,
We,
so you mean I can just go and do something like this dot editor dot set options, and then we
exactly.
pass or what was the property called?
It's called editor props. I'm gonna
No, for the
send you the
classes.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name. I'm gonna send you the exact syntax for doing it.
Oh, editor prop. So if you have other stuff in editor prop.
Yeah, I pasted the the object that provides like the attributes for the class attributes. You can see it in the Zoom chat.
Okay. So we do, and it actually merges the objects, right? So if I have something else in the editor props, then I don't want it to like destroy that and like fly
We can give it
classes.
a try. Just like call it 2 times with different properties. I don't think that it's going to merge the classes. We will have to do some work
No,
for
it's, oh yeah, it's not going to,
On your calendar, yoga starts in 10 minutes.
it's not going to merge the classes. I know that for sure, but I just want to make sure it uh,
Starts in 10 minutes.
merges the other attributes at least.
let me
Because
see.
it's a string, it's not going to concatenate the string. That I know for sure. But if I'm passing like more editor props, I think like twice. Uh, so I think it should merge. I think it should be obvious, but yeah, some things are not very obvious. Okay, the test is failing. Uh, okay, it gives you back a promise. Yeah, so I just need to add await here. And pasting. So that should work fine now. And the wiki page is still not working for some reason.
It seems like it won't do that. Like it won't merge, or I'm not even sure if it will update the editor props when you use that method. Sorry, I'm looking at the documentation and I couldn't see if that was working.
Okay, you have to provide a serializer or under just give it the markdown function. Okay, render markdown function. Uh,
Yeah, it can be just like a function that returns true or something like that.
yeah. Oh, it signed me out. Wow.
That's strange.
I restarted GDK, so it's probably right for it to sign me out, but I don't know. But it's slow, very slow. Let's look at our test. It is still failing. Cannot we destroy child? Okay.
Apparently the container is not available.
Yeah,
Can you remove
I don't
it?
need to.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I don't need to do this. Because I had changed the code, I was appending it manually using JavaScript. I
Why don't
can't
you
do that
use
anymore.
the watch mode in Jest? In that way, you don't have to continuously run the command. It's way faster.
Because Jest is very slow. Uh, in the watch mode, it's gonna screw up everything, my CPU and everything. Uh, and I don't want to watch all the tests. I should just want to watch whatever code I have changed.
Yeah, but you know it's only going to watch that file.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it because it's gonna slow down my computer. I know, like because I'm going to make a lot of changes probably, so I don't want to keep on running tests for every change I make. And especially now that I'm streaming on Zoom and also trying to run GDK and Jest at the same time. So and it's already everything is already very slow. I don't want to slow things down further. That's why I just manually run tests I've actually written them. So yeah, I'll just give you a demonstration of what's going on here. So there are a couple of changes that I have done from since I last showed it to you. Uh, so use new editor and then you see a markdown editor, sorry, a content editor here. Yeah, it took a while, uh, but yeah, the content shows up and you can add more content here. And when you switch between RDoc and Markdown, so you can see that the old content that I typed, it shows up here as well. The change that I did was that I made it the other way around as well. So now if I add some text here, and now I switch to content editor, previously it would just pick the old content, but it's initializing again. Oh, it's okay.
Why does it take so long to play the content?
Because it's getting stuff from the backend. So earlier it was I just changed this code right now, so that is why the behavior is a little different now. Uh, and I don't really want to do that actually. Just a second.
By the way, I have an observation on line 140. Well, 141 actually.
Yeah.
We should as like the render markdown accepts a parameter, an argument that is like the markdown that will be converted. So we should be passing that markdown to the to get content HTML instead of using the component state. So it would be like I'm gonna type it in the Zoom chat. We should be doing something like this because that's when we use the markdown serializer in other contexts, like based in markdown. The markdown it won't be coming from the component state. It should be coming from something internal in pros meter. So it needs, to convert any markdown input.
Okay. But yeah, so set serialized content. My question to you is, does set serialized content actually, uh, does it return you a promise?
Yes.
Uh, Great. So I can actually do an await on it. So the issue that we're seeing right now that oops, uh, that there is a flicker, like you see an old or the old content for a while, and then it automatically updates to new content. That should not happen anymore. So that should be resolved now. Anyways, that's what I wanted to show you, that that's the change I have done. When you switch between different formats and then you switch back to Markdown. So if you're making any changes between the process, your changes will be transferred to the new editor, and then when you switch back, it's again transferred back to the old editor. Although we don't really recommend you doing all of this, uh, but nowhere in the process you're going to lose your lose whatever data you have entered in the input.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's aligned with the user expectation. It doesn't matter if they are using a different format. Um, at least they know that when you go back from the content editor to RDoc or something like that, if they get Markdown, it's because like they've never had the expectation of getting something different, right? Of like converting the something in the content editor to a different format.
Yeah, and also let me just try that again. Let me just go and oh shit no.
It shows the editor automatically, right?
Yeah, I think I've screwed up things. But yeah, I've written tests for this. The test should be failing. Anyways, I'll see what I can do about it. Yeah, hopefully some of the tests should be failing now because I've made some changes that don't really look good. No. Okay. Sounds like I need to add more tests. Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's just
I think it's I found a couple of issues, and we can uh, I'll send it across to you after I fix those issues.
sounds good, Dinesh.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you that like you're persisting the content when you're switching between the formats, and that's it. You could
Cool.
go and uh,
So in my case, I'm going to update the focus state the styles that the editor has now, and I'm gonna put it around the toolbar to make it more similar to the current editor. And then I don't know if I should do that before you I don't know, before you take a second look at the toolbar editor? What do you think? Or should I do it in or should we wait to another iteration and we can just like deliver that MR as it is?
Yeah, we can deliver the MR as it is. I think it looks really good iteration, and uh, we can worry about how it looks and all those things in a different iteration. Maybe you can create an issue for that as well. That would be better. I think it's better for like the MR rate as well, because in this particular release I've like made just one MR. I think we can work more iteratively and like reach that goal as well.
I completely agree. Cool. In that case, let's merge it as it is. My next step would be to create a drop-down component where the user can switch between headers. Uh, Now we don't have like multiple hidden icons like header one, header two, header three. So what I'm thinking is doing something Medium style or Google Docs style where all of the types of heading, the levels of heading are in a dropdown. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should go with the Google Docs style, uh, because the use case of wikis is someone who is uh, much more advanced user for documentation. So I think you people would easily have more than three heading styles. So having an option of headings in a drop down would be a better idea. You would have four options at least.
Sounds good. So that's gonna be my first, my next step then. That reviewing the wiki integration one.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna stop the recording now. Thank you, Himash.